from our syllabus. Learning outcomes. And Eric did the right thing because he started things off with questions. If there are questions or comments or concerns at any point in time, for heaven's sakes, ask them, please. Those are the things that we ought to be then emphasizing for many of us then. A pre-test, post-test is pretty elementary. What does it do? It's going to help us identify what our students know coming into the class. Okay. Feeds and feeding. Generally, I would recognize that the pre-test, the average was going to be 25%. The post-test was going to be 75%. Okay. Why 75%? 25% of the students are going to have math anxiety. Okay. So they were not able to balance a ration using Pearson square. They're not going to remember everything because you should be giving this thing before the absolute end of the course so that there's an opportunity for them to demonstrate what they can do without the cramming for a test and the obligatory brain dump that follows cramming for a test. So we get an idea of where our students are, what they know coming in, and I had 1 year where the pretest was 40. Why? We had a lot of students that had been through some really good ag programs. They had balanced rations. They knew the digestive tract. They knew absorption, so they had the whole gamut. They did well. The post-test gives us a measure of value add. Okay. It'll also tell us some other things if we really look at things. And College of, no, I can't identify the college. An associate dean in another college was really interested in my comments about some of the pre-test, post-test scores that their faculty had generated. And let's look at some. Tell me what you think. A pre-test of 90, and there were several like that in that college. Post-test of 95. Why didn't they learn much?
Because they already knew it.
They already knew it. They wasted their time. They wasted, what, 45 hours in the class because they already knew the material. Okay. These are actual numbers. They're not made up. 6 and 64. What's that tell us? Tough course. Tough course. Okay. But we know that students learn on the basis of what they already know. Okay. What students learn is an extension of what they have known previously. Now, one of the things that we often in our ag classes have to do is re-teach students what they learned at home that was wrong. No responses there, no smiles or no aha moments or anything like that. Okay. Even though this person had extremely high expectations, he was able to generate some things. But I've talked with some students, overheard conversations, and they have said he's the worst instructor I have ever had. For a lot of reasons. Okay. Let's look at another 6. I think it was a 76. That's one of the best instructors on campus. even though he comes in with very high expectations, he's able, because of better teaching skills, to really bring those students along and have them understand the whole new world of material at the end of the semester.
Hey Bob, wouldn't that be easier to get those by just not teaching very much? I mean, there's a million ways to play the system. And I'm going to throw an opinion. I think a pre-test, post-test is nearly worthless as a measure of classroom effectiveness.
I thought when the first time we sat down for an assessment workshop like this, you told us that you would prefer we didn't do a pre-test, post-test, that there are better methods of assessment. Are we required to do a pre-test, post-test?
You're not required to do any individual method. You use what works best for you. Okay. So, thanks for jumping in, because I sure hope I didn't indicate that you had to use a pre-test, post-test. It's popular with a lot of folks. It's probably been oversold because it's easy. Okay, you do things twice.
Yeah, I'm with Rob. I can totally manipulate that.
Sure.
And here I am, the best teacher ever. See ya.
Congratulations.
Can I go on now?
And you're modest. And you're modest to boot.
And it's honest, though. That's the point.
And there are people that will
Play the system.
Okay. And I think Rob has a good point. You have a good point that we can manipulate things by identifying those 6 things that we really want to learn, students to learn. Okay. And then forget about everything else. Well,
If you have 5 key points, how to saddle a horse, how to safety and radiology, and you spend a whole semester, it's all you drive home, you do great on that test, because you know what the outcome you want from your students.
And we all know a faculty, I'm sure, who have manipulated that system and as a result have received teaching awards on the basis of nominations from students. So, yeah, there's no perfect system. Did I step on any toes all of a sudden?
I suck at assessments.
Tom,
One can choose to work the system and get awards, or one can choose to educate students.
Yep.
And in my mind, how you construct the pretest is more important than whether or not you use it. And it should be based on those outcomes that are in your syllabus. And it should be a representative, that should be a good final exam for your course. It should have all the major points, how many questions you need for that. That's what it should be. Give that as a pretest.
Or, now this isn't I'll scratch my back if you, that type of thing. Or I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine, I mean to say. Tom is one who was one of the first on campus to take the pretest and use those questions in our exams. Okay? So that's some validation. Okay? The pretests that I see that I dislike intensely are the 10-question true-false questions. I have strong biases, and I'll stand upon them all day, against multiple choice and true-false. Okay. If a department indicates that they have communication skills as one of the programmatic level outcomes for students, and almost everyone does, you need to be working on that. Okay. There's one college, not ag, that's very, very bad about saying, oh, we get our students into our senior projects and they can't write a proposal. Okay? Why? Well, you haven't had them write a cotton picking thing since it got out of English 120. What the heck do you expect? Okay, sorry, I get preachy. So with the post-test, use it. Students knew that the exams that I would give them would be 5 questions and calculations. Okay. That was a pre-test, that was a post-test that they saw. It's not the only game in town.